All right, ladies. Hey. Let's jump into this chat. Let's talk about finances a little bit. Let's talk about how you can make some money using your vehicle. If you are a woman, whether you're single, have a child, or children, I'm gonna give you two ways that'll for sure get you a contract with a hospital or a doctor's office, transporting. If you happen to know someone that is elderly and has to commute back and forth with doctor visits, or if you know someone that just happens to be sickly or have needs to go to their doctor's appointments, specialists. A lot of people have transportation issues, dependable transportation. Now, how you can personalize this instead of, Uber is a great thing. A lot of people do Uber, Lyft, things like that. But if you have funds to where you can afford to purchase a minivan or even an SUV that has a third row, keep your vehicle clean, the van clean, and transport them. You need to network within that hospital or medical facility about getting paid to transport patients. People make money that way. I've definitely done it. And it's definitely been a blessing. Another way you can make money, children. You know how we have carpools and parents say, okay, everybody's going to ride with this mom or this dad. Have you thought about starting a small business that would transport children to and from school, even aftercare, safe and soundly? Now, I do want to say this right here. You also may want to look into upping your insurance. In the beginning, I know a lot of people are going to, just kind of take somewhat as we call the risk and use their personal insurance. But commercial insurance is a great thing to have because it covers you from so many other things. But even if you cannot afford commercial insurance, you do want to have more than the basic insurance policy and coverage over your vehicle, not only for you, but for passengers, because we live in a sue happy society and accidents do happen. But I wanted to share those two ideas. It's two things I've done before and I've made, a significant amount of money. So let me see if y'all have any questions first before we go any further. One way to make money on the side for yourself is using your vehicle. Also, with delivery services, if you can get a independent contract with the hospital with transporting or delivering not only packages for the hospital but medical supplies. That's something recent that I've been studying. Okay. Yeah, if you all will hit the like button. Ladies, there are ways out here to make money. Living, you know, is life. Everybody's not going to always have a good sugar daddy, a good king of pentacles, a good emperor, as tarot would suggest. You need to be realistic with your life and your living. Using your vehicle safely, using your vehicle. Now, this is what I want to say also to those of you all that watch, both my channels or watch tarot and we have these chats. If you are one of these women that are under a lot of scrutiny, spiritual scrutiny, and you suspect people or a person doing witchcraft on you, hexing you, you definitely want to be very discreet about having a transportation business. Why? Because they are going to attack it. And you must realize we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but we war against principalities and rulers of high and wicked places. So you would have to discreetly advertise and market yourself. That's why with those businesses, if you can start them with someone that you know, especially older people or people's children, networking. Are you a mom, single mom that's looking for extra work? Does it fit your schedule? Can you modify your schedule in some sort of way so that it can be accommodating to you and another parent, whether he or she is single or not? You just want to find ways to protect yourself. Discretion is a part of life. Secrecy is a part of life. privacy is a part of life, and you have to know when to tailor your life to such ways. So it's not that you're hiding, a great idea that you have, but you have to look at it as protection, especially if you are a woman that you know that a person or people spiritually attack you, because they will try to attack your business. Looks like a pro scam setup. What's a pro scam setup? What is that, ma'am or sir? Or how is that relating to this conversation? What's a pro scam setup? As we move on from that, as the next person drops their question or comments, ladies, I would like to throw this in as a freebie as well. Another way to make money on the side. And this too is a way that you have to be, number one, careful. Number two, discreet and private. Whether you live in an apartment or a house, do you have an extra room, an extra bedroom? If you have two bed, I would really recommend you doing the second one if you have two restrooms. But if you have another bedroom and another restroom that someone else can use, do you have a female friend that is either in school, getting a stipend from school? That way she can pay you up in advance for renting your room, leasing your room. Or have you thought about reaching out to people in the medical field, especially traveling nurses and women? We need to target other women like us. And what I mean like us, those that are trying to find their way in life and get to the next phase and stage carefully and safely and somewhat discreet and privately. Have you ever considered about renting a room out of your home? Do you have that space? Is your household, of course, clean? If you have a child, children, you would have to sit down and really ponder if that type of side hustle would work for you. But if you are somebody that has a bonus room, if you live in a 2-level or 3-level house by chance, do you have space that's accommodating for another individual? I would recommend women. If you are someone that's a little indecisive about allowing a man to come into your home, you would also need to do background check and references before you put somebody into your home in that space. And you also need to look up leasing, so you'll know how to have your lease typed up for you moving a person in, and so that you're able to nullify any contract between you and a person that lives with you if they break some sort of rule, if you begin to be uncomfortable. So do a little study and research. But that is another way that you can make extra money or split your bills in half. If you don't want to do a stranger, are you good at roommating? Do you have a friend girl or a relative, well, family member, because you don't want to interact with relatives, a family member. Family members you typically do life with and you have rapport and a comfortability with them. Relatives, they can be a little sketchy. So you want to not so much interact with relatives. But if you have that extra space and you're willing to open up your living quarters, and are you and a person split the bills down the middle? You can split them down the middle, or you can charge a little additional on their rent/lease, light bill, water bill, or whatever have you, so that you can not only be getting half, but getting a little bit more to make a little more of a cushion for yourself. Now that is something that I did for a long time when Nosha and I lived in an apartment. I had several single women rent Nosha's room, and me and Nosha slept in my room, and I made my room into, because I had a master bedroom. I made my room into like a bonus room where I put my bed on one side, Nosha bed on another. So in Nosha's room, I allowed them to either have their own bed, or I had a bed for them. And sometimes it would just be a single woman who needed some help. Sometimes it would be a single mother who needed some help. But in that, when I did that, we split the bills down the middle. So what I was already paying, what they were giving me, I took it and put it in a separate account. So that is another way of making money if you're comfortable with that. Two ways you can kind of assess your life and see if these two things would be beneficial for you if you feel comfortable with them. Now, I do want to say in today's society and in today's living, you know, with this whole spiritual move and trend that people have made and are making, you want to be very spiritually discerning, because people conjure up and connect to many spirits. So you want to get someone that is very much so like-minded like you, a woman or a single mother that's, striving again for life, going to the next phase and stage of her life, whatever that may be. A woman that needs a little help, a little help plus, comfort. So you just don't want to open yourself up to any and everybody. And you want to get people that are good paymasters. We all go through hardships in life. Hardships are a part of life. It's a teaching mechanism for us. At the same time, you don't want to get somebody that's slack, lazy, and slothful to taking care of themselves and their responsibilities, because that's all that person will be to you. So when it comes to, and also get your money up front. Get your money up front. The same way, like what I did when people wanted to move in or they had hardship, I had them to give me 2 months of rent. 2 months, the first 2 months. Because that would give them time to get the third month in on that third month. But I asked for 2 months of rent up front. And be strict. Be strict, be straight up about your money. And also that's you also would still need to look into, like I said, leasing, subleasing, to know what your rights are according to where you live. If you happen to rent or lease, if you own, you can do pretty much anything. But you just want to make it safe and affordable. Not just affordable, but safe and affordable. Also, if you go to school, if you're in college, you're taking any classes, network a little bit, and see if a person needs a ride to and from school. Like I said, that concierge business I had was kind of cool. You can grow those things in different ways as you start them. So it may start off as one way and you can find a way, or you'll end up discovering another way to grow it. Ladies, I just want to say in closing, the internet is a beautiful place. It is a beautiful place, but it is not always the safest space and place to make money. A lot of people get into content creating, but a lot does come with it. I don't want to discourage you if you ever feel led to get into content creating. I just want to give you other avenues that can make money, and just as much money as you would in content creating if you structure yourself accordingly. I also want to say that, with tarot is a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, it's become so competitive because people have discovered and utilized so many manipulative tactics for tarot. So I just don't want us to be out here as women that, living, striving to live affordably, and to store up into like your retirement, your social security and things like that. I don't want us out here thinking there's not ways out here, because they are. Sometimes it takes us putting our minds with other people that are like-minded like us and that have a drive and strive for life. So maybe we can have these chats once a month. I hope that tonight's chat has been helpful. Peace and blessings. Great day. If there are any other comments or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. We are going to have a chat about lottery. How you can and make money off of lottery. With lottery, I want to say this up front. There's always that risk and that chance that you may not get as much as you give. So you have to budget that accordingly. Oh yeah, thank you, Holy Spirit. Ladies, tax time. I know we're right at that peak of people getting their refunds checked. Before you take that money and spend it paying other people that you owe as far as bills, you want to make sure that your necessities are caught up, and if you can, have a little overage. Let's have that chat right now. So you want to take that money and you want to take some of it and already off the top take it and put it to the side for you. If you're a mom or whether you're just single, for you and your household, you want to take some of your tax money and put it to the side. Period. You know, if you have to purchase a vehicle, there is no such thing as a down payment. You need to, if you can, respectfully me saying this, you need to purchase a vehicle that's within your budget financially as well as credit wise. Try to live within your means, or if you can, a very wise things to do is to live beneath your means. So that way you can always have extra. But please, if you can, definitely take your tax money and put something to the side for a rainy day. And also, when you take that money and take it to the side, I want you to take 500. So let's say you have an extra $2,000 and you put it up. Put that, instead of putting 2,000 up, put 1,500 up. Keep $500. Take $500 and take 5 days to meditate and pray and ask in the Holy Spirit, what can I do with this 500 to start making extra money now? We've already gone over lemonade stands, right? We've already gone over pop-up shops. Remember that? Well, how about having a game night once a month and charging you want to have game nights with people that you trust, but you charge a little fee? Or if not game night, what about a travel group that you can individually start? But you want to take that $500 and you just want to ask the Lord, Holy Spirit, what can I do with this money, to make extra money? Some of you all will get a download within 5 days. If you don't hear anything within 5 days, that's because the Lord is just simply saying, be still. He's not speaking to you yet because he needs you to ponder more. Or sometimes the Lord will not speak right back to us when we start asking for things like that because we don't have that airway of consistent communication. So he wants you to communicate with him more, and not just communicate with him when you need or want something, but learn how to go to the Lord and say, God, I just want to say you thank you for waking me up. I want to give you honor and glory for this day that you've given me life, health, and strength. I want to thank you for peace. I want to thank you for my great health. Thank you for keeping my children safe. So sometimes the Lord wants us, to learn how to communicate with him. He wants us to have good to excellent communication skills with him before just coming to him, plugging in like he's a, slot machine or an ATM, asking for withdrawal, and we never give anything into him, a simple thank you. So a lot of times when you don't get a right away answer, or you feel like you don't hear anything right away, it's because the Lord is saying, okay, I don't hear from you until you're in this predicament, until you're in this situation, or until you need or want something. I like for you to stop by and check on me. Lord, is there anything you would have me to do for you on this day? This is the day the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. How would you like for me to eat my daily bread? So sometimes it's just a simple communication error. It's not that he's not going to speak. It's not that he does not speak to you, but it's just that maybe you don't speak to him enough. So take your tax monies, ladies, and please don't come booking up a whole bunch of readings with me. Respectfully saying, yeah, the money be good, but y'all, I don't want to sit here and make money and you still be in the same situation and circumstances that you're in. If you need a reading that bad, I've opened up digital readings again where you can ask 2 questions. You can book it from the website or text me and we can go from there. But you need to take your money and invest it in you. Invest it in somebody else's, trend or brand. And you, especially if you're not in a certain frequency of life yet, you cannot get upset, or you should not be upset when you see a person striving and growing and you've done nothing to grow yourself. Okay? Just want to put that, kind of right there, respectfully. So remember, take your tax money. I know people get behind. I know how that is. That's life. Sometimes you get behind, you use your tax money to catch up. At the same time, if you are behind, sometimes you take that tax money and put it up and make arrangements. make arrangements and take your tax money, begin to find other ways to diversify your finances so that you can begin to live a optimal life, because God, he wants you to be blessed and highly favored, and you can be. You got to work to get it though. And everybody ain't gonna be out here selling coochie. Everybody ain't gonna do that. Everybody's not gonna be giving head, to these men. Everybody's not gonna do that. And if that's your way, that's your business. But this right here is for a chat for women that, we gotta figure it out ourselves, or, we need a little extra help. So yeah. So ladies, I hope that this has been helpful. I'm gonna get into doing some readings tonight / this morning. Leave your comments in the comment section, as well as your respectful suggestions. Remember, the first thing we went over is using your vehicle. Using your vehicle, but also having the coverage to use your vehicle. So you want to have more than the basic. More than the basic insurance coverage. Let me say something. Suppose a person hits you and they have no insurance. Where does that leave you? How can your insurance, compensate you? How are you going to use your insurance? Suppose you need more, but you have the basic policy. You have the basic policy. So you want to even if you are not doing a business or just starting a business with your vehicle, you still want to budget to have more than the basic insurance policy of coverage for your vehicle and for your body. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So using your vehicle, whether it's commercial insurance or regular insurance, but using your vehicle to transport things or people, and you want to try to do it independently. You know why? Because independent contracting, it helps you negotiate and fluctuate your money so that you can keep the bulk of it in your hand versus paying or working through a company that's going to take 30%, sometimes, 45% or something of that nature. The next thing that we talked about, if you are a woman that you're comfortable with having a roommate, a tenant, you want to study leasing, renting, subleasing, even Airbnbs, but you want to look into that and see the perks, see the pros and the cons, so that you can study and maybe test it out with a friend girl if you're in college, with the person who may need room and board with college and things like that. Alrighty, ladies. I hope this has been helpful again. Peace and blessings. Great day. I look forward to hearing from you all in the comment section. Like the videos. Trolls, I hope your ignorant ass have a good night as well. Namaste.